Okay, so here's the Three of Wands. Another guy who's looking out over the horizon. He's got ships in the bay in front of him. He's still holding on to one wand. Well, it's your turn to speak.
Oh, it's my turn to say something. Again?
Give us some anchors to work with on this card. That's the point.
See, in this one, you can actually see the ships and see the possibilities out there, and things are kind of moving. They're picking along. There's a momentum picking up, and 3 is a triangle, so there's more stability.
Right. So
and often it's a partnership with another person in there.
Right.
It might be a group or but it's moving along.
Yeah. So something is happening. It's more than just the original partnership. You can actually see the action of the.
But there's also the 3, like in the Hegelian, thesis, antithesis, and synthesis.
Right.
So
and so what is this? What is, if it's thesis, antithesis, synthesis? What is the synthesis in this card?
Well, that's what he's looking out to see. I haven't looked at the card yet.
What's on his back? Is it a quiver? Or...
Well, J. Bill, I gave you a deck.
This is just intuitive.
Okay.
Well, I have a lot of time to do that.
I know. 2 hours a week, that's all I ask.
That was our homework, right?
Yeah. Sorry. I think it's just being fashionable.
Oh, okay. Okay, just remember. But it does look like a quiver.
But he doesn't have anything to shoot with.
What did you say, Stephanie? I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
She thought it looked like a
Is
quiver.
that a sinking boat?
She thinks it looks like a quiver. Okay. John.
Looks to me like Aaron or Moses finding the promised land.
Well, Moses found the promised land, but he didn't quite enter it, right?
Well, this guy's got to find a boat. So.
Yeah, that's right. He's seriously into boats. So I don't think it's Moses.
How many boats are there? How many ships do you see?
But that idea
Kind
of
of
the
a Hebrew
promise.
dress, though.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh
But
wait, at the Red Sea, the parting.
all right.
Waiting for something.
So with 3s, something is happening. Something like in the Syzygy, where if you think about Yin and Yang, they never actually mix. Okay, they each have a little bit of the other in them. So the black swirl in the Yin and Yang has a white dot, and the white swirl has a black dot, which is
Or you could
baked in the cake, right? But they never actually can mix. They have to have some third thing that mixes it up and makes it alchemy,
But the
right?
other side, the other way of looking at it is they never can come apart.
And they never can come apart. That's true. They're yoked together. That's why
It's
Dr.
like the floor almost being full.
Yeah, it's like Dr. Jung said, the Syzygy, it's like being yoked together. Actually, it was Edinger that explained the Syzygy that way, as being yoked together. But in this case, obviously, what I learned, right, is, okay, Columbus has got his project started, and the Queen has made the money available, and now he's got some other people involved, and they've got their ships for their adventure to the New World. We'll move on. Okay, so this is the Four of Wands, and obviously this represents sort of a wedding canopy from the Jewish tradition. You think it's a funeral canopy?
That's the first thing I thought of. It doesn't.
You thought it was a funeral? Well, it could be a funeral also.
Wedding funeral, yeah.
Corno?
Yeah. Well, 4 relates to the 4th house in astrology and the emperor.
Okay, so 4 relates to the 4th house
Yeah.
and to the
Which
emperor.
is home. Yeah.
Home.
Yep.
Okay.
Home and stability and creating a strong foundation.
Right, and so 4 also represents organization, getting things
Completion.
together, completion. Okay,
Yeah. And this
And-
is a celebration. So if it
right.
comes in reverse, then it's something built on a rocky foundation.
Right, okay.
Lies and deceit and that kind of stuff. So this is
So what I've written down in my quick notes was harmony, satisfaction,
yeah. Well, it just when you
more
see it,
joy in life, appreciation. Reversed is a lack of communication, lack of patience, and not willing to accept defeat.
They look like they're celebrating though. So
This
what
is
Yeah.
a celebration.
I was talking about reverse.
upside down,
Yeah.
then it's the opposite.
This
Right.
is a poor
Okay.
foundation.
Yeah,
What-
can we
that's
do
a-
it this way just for a
okay,
minute?
so
It's
yours-
a weak foundation. This
So
is
it's a weak-
strong and stable and healthy. This is built on
Okay,
a crumbling.
so our expert says this is a strong foundation for whatever's happening, and this is a weak foundation. John, did you have a comment on this?
It just looks like they're having a good time here.
Yeah, it's a good time.
There's a
If it's right
elevation.
side up, it's definitely a
It
good
looks like
time.
a happy place.
There's the 5 of Wands.
They're just frustrating because they can't reach the rest of the fruit.
Can't reach the rest of the.
For the pinata.
Okay, so 5s. One thing to think about 5 is the 5-pointed star. And there's a reason why I want to mention the 5-pointed star, because there's also a 6-pointed star. But the 5-pointed star is like dum 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 dum, right? And basically what that is, 5s are often things that are bouncing around, bouncing back and forth, and can't find a settled place. And so whenever a 5 comes up in a reading, I always think of the 5-pointed star and the idea that things are going to bounce around. You know, they may get to the top point, but then they're going to go right back to the bottom and then bounce up to the side and bounce this way and bounce back down to the side and then bounce up to the top again.
Just like a human.
Pardon?
Just like a human.
Like a human.
Yeah, you're right.
Right.
5's change.
Okay, you're saying that's
5
change.
is the number of big change.
5 is the number of change. Okay,
Yeah.
so again, that would be the same idea, that it's changing. It's going to get to one point, and then it's going to immediately change and go to another point, and immediately change to go another point. So if you think of the 5-pointed star every time you think of a 5, that's a start to a reading. Okay, anything else?
This one is a call for, it said, within a group, there are battles going on because there's envy and jealousy and this kind of thing. So when you look at this, you go, ooh, that's kind of turbulent looking. But it's actually a call to work within the group and to help everybody in the group do well, and without creating envy and jealousy and backbiting and that kind of stuff, because it goes on, and people get this card for the workplace and they go, that's going on at work. And you say, well, there's a lot of stuff, everyone's got their baggage, they're bringing it to the table,
Right.
and so you got to really look at the situation and see that everybody's got their stuff,
Yeah.
and
So it's a
how
kind of
to contribute to the higher good of the whole group
yes.
without
Right.
resorting to listen.
Destroying the place.
Right.
Okay,
right.
I
good.
hope you do that when you do a miracle. I hope you get that one.
Pardon?
That's a good one, right? If you're doing a
Well,
miracle.
I mean, yeah, it depends on. I would read this as a test or a struggle. It's agreeing to disagree. It can be a joyous test. Like this card looks like a bunch of young guys who are out having fun testing themselves. And, you know, in the Marine Corps, we used to do the pugil sticks, right? So we had essentially staves like that, and we were doing the Robin Hood thing, you know. Robin Hood and Friar Tuck, whack, 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 you know.
This is not a stick, right?
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, we were. It's a pretend. It was a pretend rifle, right? It was a pretend rifle with a bayonet on it, but we were testing ourselves to try to see if we could combat one another. Now, in my case, they hit me right in the gut with it, and 40 years later, I had to have a surgery for my hiatal hernia.
Yeah, I'm sure that was
Right, but it was very playful at the time, you know, and I walked away from it, and I just shook it off when it happened. But 40 years later, the radiologist looks at the film and he says, Mr. Conover, that's the largest hiatal hernia I've ever seen. And what happens in a hiatal hernia is your stomach comes up through your diaphragm and ends up crushing your lungs so that you can't breathe. And so to repair that, they have to repair.
I have these 5 wands.
Yeah.
A crushed lung.
To repair that, they have to repair your diaphragm so that your stomach stays down. And anyway, that's too much detail.
No, seriously, my dad had that surgery, and I had to drive him, and I'm the squeamish one. Everyone else in my family's medical, and I'm not. And the doctor, surgeon's very proud of his work, brought me into a room. Dad's doing great, I want to show you some pictures. I said, no, really, I'm squeamish. He said, oh, no, I'm going to show you. I said, I'm squeamish. And he just shoved these pictures of my dad's guts under my nose. And I'm like, that's great. And he was so excited, so I didn't want to hurt his feelings. But
Right.
That's a doctor for you.
yeah, I was
Right.
going to pass out.
So my surgeon tells me how they tie your stomach in a knot.
Oh, jeez.
And I'm saying, how are you doing this? I'm thinking of this old kids tune of the, throw it over your shoulder like do your ears hang low? Can you tie them in a bow?
That's modern medicine. We haven't progressed.
we haven't progressed from kindergarten, but that's what I think.
This card turned up in one of my active imaginations about
Did
a
it?
dream.
Wow.
Yeah, because in the dream I was running away from this very threatening tidal wave.
Mm-hmm.
So I was talking to my friend, and she said, "Well, why don't you turn around and jump into the tidal wave and do active imagination?" So I did that, and I jumped right into the wave.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went through a series of little episodes, and I came out standing on 5 sticks. There were 5 sticks in a radial pattern, and I didn't know what the 5 sticks meant. So the next day or 2 days later, I typed it into the internet to see what 5 rods or 5 sticks was, and Tarot came up.
Okay, so anyway, that was the
They were
5
in
of
order.
wands.
They were